So we're getting Tuesday started here on Frontier Opening Bell. Hello, everyone. I am Bosin Omofaye, and this is how we're getting the second day of the week started. We've got about a day more to the end of the month of January. We've got a whole lot of economic data coming through from not just within the continent, but outside. All of these are in play. If you're buying, if you're trading African securities, of course, you've got to consider external issues such as economic data out of a Eurozone, the eyes on the FOMC, US Federal Open Market Committee decision on Wednesday tomorrow. Then, of course, you've got the Bank of England interest rate decision on Friday, February the 2nd. Then wraps up the month of January, takes us into February. Then we've got a bit of decisions this week as far as interest rate is concerned from Mozambique later in the week today. Tomorrow, they've got the inflation data out of Kenya and Uganda. Those data will be out today, the 30th of January. Of course, yesterday we heard from the Central Bank of Ghana lowering interest rates, the first of such in sub-Saharan Africa since 2024 started, 100 basis points. We'll get the normal press briefing from Addison, who is the Bank of Ghana's governor later today. We'll bring up that to everyone. What else is in the news as far as that is concerned? But let's look at the markets just to walk you through Monday's trading day. The Nigerian market was better by 2.22%. The BRVM down by 0.07%. Of course, yesterday we saw that the shares of two of the companies listed on the BRVM connected to Burkina Faso, Onatel, shares was down by 3%. The shares of Bank of Africa and Niger Republic also down a little bit above 3%. Also on Monday, in Niger reaction to the decision by Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso, three of those countries announcing over the weekend that they're exiting the ECOWAS economic bloc, political bloc here in the west coast of the continent. So all that in play, the market reacted negatively to some of those shares that were listed on the West African, French-speaking West African stock exchange, the BRVM in Côte d'Ivoire, and that's where part of the decline that you saw, less than 1/10%. We'll see how the market continues today across some of those companies in Mali, in Niger, as well as Burkina Faso listed on the BRVM. Keep you in the loop. The Egyptian market continued the week on Monday with 2.10%, stronger to the north. And then, of course, you've got the Nairobi stock market down by 30 basis points. It's heading back to below 90 and just starting that threshold, 90.1 on the all-share index. As we saw, some of the big names within the market decline on Monday. The NSE 25 index was even sharply lower than the NSE 30 itself. You got the GSE down by 0.5% yesterday. Of course, the whole news around the global economy and all eyes on the FOMC and interest rate decision, economic data, all of that in play for emerging markets. But let me walk you through the top stories coming through from East African community. And that's where I'm working into right now with Kenya and Uganda inflation data for January, which we're expecting out on Wednesday, tomorrow, the 31st. Of course, we're expecting today money supply information data from South Africa. Kenya says it's lost about $200 million amidst oil disputes with Uganda. Uganda is now shopping for fuel import via Tanzania and boycotting its existing partner Kenya in that regard. US dollar crunch is costing Tanzania's oil companies about 300 billion shillings. All the oil importers and retailers are complaining, and they said they want some government support. The United Nations is looking at $1.6 billion in support for Somalis in 2024, while Uganda Airlines says its income was up 62% in full year to the end of June 2023. Some good news there. Why did DR Congo say the customs collected about 1.89 billion, roughly $2 billion for the full year 2023. Let's take this to West Africa. Of course, Nigeria's very naughty currencies market and exchange rate still yet to be dealt with. News in that the central bank added additional $500 million to the market, trying to clear up part of the backlog of arrears. That will take the total clearance to about 2.5 billion US dollars in total. That does not make up for everything. We'll still have about another $5 billion on cleared arrears on the market. Exchange rate is still very naughty. But we're raising the curtain on the earnings season for Nigeria full year 2023. FCMB Holdings, the parent company of Faso Monument Bank, reporting gross earnings up 71%, about 195 billion in local currency. Interest income better by 70% on a year-on-year basis. All the other details you can read up. And Rand Merchant Bank says it's partnering with Niger, that's the multilateral investment guarantee agency of the World Bank, to support Cote d'Ivoire trade finance facilities. Some good news for Cote d'Ivoire, which went to the global Eurobond market last week to raise $2.6 billion. Order book was north of $8 billion. More than 400 investors participated in that auction, the first in the new year for Sub-Saharan Africa. I talked about the Bank of Ghana cutting interest rates yesterday, 100 basis points to raise the caution as President Nana Akufo-Addo tried to walk the economy of Ghana back out of the woods. The fiscal balance, delicate balancing is still there. But of course, this is a good shot. How will this work out with inflation, unemployment, and interest rate? All of that will be in play. An exchange rate as well of the cedi against the US dollar. Fitch has affirmed Gabon's at B- and removes the rating watch negative after Gabon went the way of a military junta just months ago. And Serra Rutile, which is a mining company based in Sierra Leone, says its cash operations for last year, fourth quarter, was about $7.8 million. That's sharply lower than $20 million that were reported in the third quarter of 2023. Those numbers came in through yesterday through market sources. Let's take all that to Southern Africa and check what is making the headlines. Of course, the Zimbabwe's inflation surges to 34.8% this month, and that's worse than 26.5% that was reported in December. There's a whole lot of head scratching there for the finance minister, Mchili Ngube, as well as the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe to deal with the exchange rate and implications of a stronger inflation in the Southern Africa's economy. In the meantime, Zimbabwe says it's short import permits for fresh imports of fertilizers, confectionaries, construction materials, and so on. All of that to contain as much dollar outflows from the economy, US dollars that is, and try to manage liquidity. South Africa is closer to a new nuclear plant after the federal government moved. That's what the new electricity minister in South Africa is working on to support the country's flagging electricity sector. No thanks to Eskom's utilities problems. And in this week, we've got the money supply and manufacturing PMI from South Africa, new vehicle sales data, BMW reporting that the numbers for new vehicle sales last year was down from the previous year. Again, economy is not what it used to be. So the ultra rich in South Africa bought less BMW luxury car last year than 2022. We've got a whole lot more economic data on the street this week. Keep that in your view. Now let's finish off in North Africa as we consider some of what is going on and some good news, as it were, from President Saied's Tunisia, with the country says its Tunisia Africa Business Council is looking at the regional offices across Africa. The folks to the north are warming up more to the sub-Saharan Africa, the rest of the continent, and this is one of the things going on. The EFDB and the Attijari Wafa Bank of Europe says they have a 100 million euro deal to boost African trade. That is one of the good news we're looking to see. Of course, remember the Italy-Africa Summit, which is taking place in Rome, will come to an end later today. And the S&P Global is predicting that Egypt's currency, the Egyptian pound, will be adjusted closer to the black market rates. And that sounds a little bit familiar to you if you know about Nigeria's exchange rate as well, with the whole removing of government control and allowing market forces, and that's taking Nigeria's naira down to the street level. But of course, we've seen the exchange rate, even on the streets, moving away from the Nigeria Autonomous Foreign Exchange Market, which consider the official window. But all that's in play. There's a lot of currency issues to worry about for a number of African sovereigns. And that's all of the issues that investors are taking on board. That's what Frontier Opening Bell. Do have a profitable day, whatever is happening to your currency, exchange rate, inflation, interest rate, whatever it is in the mix. Keep your eyes here on Frontier Opening Bell.